Hey guys, how you doing? It's Kevtech here, bringing you another video on information technology. I hope you're having a good day. Happy Sunday. And today we're going to do a Helpdesk Lab with Server 2019. And I'm going to go over it from the beginning to the end. I try not to make it too complicated. And I'm going to show you how you could get started today with your own lab. Obviously, if you're new to my channel, I do IT videos and stuff, support videos, so about how to get into IT. So as always, rate, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you know when I go live, okay? So today I'm going to make a whole lab video on how to create your own lab using Server 2019, Windows 10, and I'm going to do some other stuff that I normally don't do. And I'm going to show you how to get started, okay? From the beginning, like not like me installing, it's already installed already. No, it's not. Now I'm going to actually show you how to install it, okay? Let me share my screen. Use screen one. So the agenda for today, I'm going to grab my screen. Helpdesk. It's all a Helpdesk lab. So today's a Helpdesk lab. So we're going to talk about Server 2019, Windows 10, Active Directory, PowerShell, share files, PDQ, and then my Discord channel, obviously. So we'll talk about all that today. So that's the agenda for today, okay? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab the ISO for Microsoft. So we're going to do Microsoft Windows Evaluation Center. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to all Microsoft products, or sorry, not all Microsoft products. I'm going to hit products, Server 2019. I'm going to click on that. And it says, which one do you want? I want this one, Server 2019. I want the ISO file. Hit continue. I'm going to put my name. I'm going to put my last name, Kevtech. And if I could spell right, Kevtech. And it's asking me for more information, which is fine. I'm a technical manager. Me, I have a real work email address. I'm gonna put Kevin at kevtechitsupport.com. This one I usually went to whatever, right? Is it do they call you? Not really. Does the email count? Like, does it help you? Yeah, it does. They send you free stuff on Microsoft. That's why I recommend people sign up for it. Don't put a fake email address, put a real one. This is a real email address. So I'm putting my email address. Anyway, if you don't want them to know who you are, whatever, you could put a fake one, whatever you want. So it's fine. Do you want business organizations, other Microsoft products and services? I'm gonna check mark yes. So you just select the English one, right? You hit download. So while that's downloading, or that's hiding, that's happening behind the scenes. We're gonna go to the next tab and we're gonna type VirtualBox. We're going to download VirtualBox, and I'm going to hit download VirtualBox, and I'm going to hit Windows host, right? So I'm sorry from the beginning. Basically, I don't have anything on this computer right now. So I'm going to hit VirtualBox. I'm going to hit run. I downloaded the Windows host one. This is the one that I downloaded because that's the one that I use, right? So I'm going to hit next. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to hit yes. I'm going to hit install. So now that's installing. Easy, right? So far, so good, right? And I just got an email from Microsoft about the about the Server 2019 trial version. Literally just got an email just now. So I'm gonna hit finish, and it should run now. This is running. Have my penguin over here and everything. We're good. So now this is downloading. While that's downloading, I'm gonna go to the next tab and I'm gonna type Microsoft Windows 10 bootable USB, and I'm gonna download Windows 10 disk image. So that's happening right now behind the scenes. We're going to go over this right now real quick. So far, so good, right? I hope I didn't lose anyone. And just make sure that you have virtualization enabled on your laptop in the BIOS if you're using a laptop. Make sure you have enough memory. Like me, if I go to Task Manager and I go to Performance, right? I have 63 gigs of RAM. I have a PC desktop. Not everyone has that, right? So whenever you allocate memory to a VM, it's going to take it from your home physical computer. So just keep that in mind, okay? So I'm gonna close out of that. Download tool. It's downloading the tool, and I'm gonna open it. So I'm gonna click on it. Getting a few things ready for you. So we're not installing Windows 10 on my computer. I just want the ISO image for this. I'm gonna show you how to do that right here in this video. So just give that a second. Nobody reads this except. I'm going to put this below in the description of the video. I'm going to put this below in the description of the video, and I'm going to put this below in the description of the video of today's video. So don't worry about any of this, okay? Just give it a second. you want to upgrade? I'm not upgrading my PC. I want the ISO. So I'm going to hit create installation media tool. And here you can uncheck it and change this to if you want. We'll leave it at 64-bit right now. And hit next. ISO file and hit next. And it's going to ask you where do you want to input it at. I'm going to put it in downloads folder. This PC downloads folder. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to let that create itself. So I could close out of this. I could close out of this. And I could close out of this. So that's here. See, VirtualBox is over here. I'm going to drag this all the way to the right. It's right over here. We're waiting for this to finish, and then we'll get started with our lab environment. Okay, just bear with me. Just showing you, like, this does take time. So you gotta have patience with this. So now VirtualBox is over here. While that's doing this, right? I'm gonna create the two VMs. I'm gonna create one called Server 2019. And I'm going to create one called Windows 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the new right over here. And I'm going to type Server 2019. Hit the drop down, 2019. Next. Remember I talked about the memory. Whatever memory you have on your computer, it's going to allocate it and put it over here. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to put 12 gigs of RAM for this one. Virtual disk, create, next. How much space you want to put on the hard drive. So whatever space you have on your computer, it's going to allocate it right over here. I'm going to hit create. So now that's the first VM. It's done. Nothing, it's not complicated. Okay. If you get stuck, let me know, but it shouldn't be complicated. Hit the next one, hit new. And we're going to type Windows 10. Right away, it changes the drop down to Windows 10. You see that? I'm going to hit next. This one, I'm going to put 8 gigs of RAM. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to hit create. I'm going to hit next. And I'm going to hit create next. 50 gigs of space for this one. We hit create. So now we have two VMs, right? They don't have anything on them yet. So don't worry about that. We'll go over that real quick. So you click on settings, right? System has 12 gigs of RAM. Processor, if you want to give it another CPU, you can. You can throw another CPU in there. Up to you how many cores you have. So that's why I tell people, go to your task manager. Just make sure your computer can handle it. Like mine can handle it. Look, this is running high right now. The Zoom meeting that I'm doing right now with this setup, it's a little high, but it's okay. If you go to performance, CPU, I have 12 cores. So I can allocate another core if I wanted to. I choose not to, right? Memory is 63 gigs of RAM. So my memory is okay. I don't have issues with memory. So just make sure that you have a really good computer, or you have a computer that can handle it. For Windows 10, you could run it with 1 gig of RAM, just letting you know. 2 gigs of RAM, it'll run okay. 1 gig of RAM, it could run okay. So me, I recommend you getting a desktop that at least has 16 gigs of RAM. 16 typically is what I recommend, because then you'll be struggling with VMs like Server 2019 and Windows 10. You're going to be stuck here trying to join a PC to a domain or try to do any changes at all, and it's going to be really, really slow. So that's why I tell people, like, get at least 16 gigs of RAM. You could you have a computer with 8 gigs of RAM, and you could get away with 1 gig of RAM on Windows 10. But on a server, no, it's going to be very, very slow. So I tell people upgrade memory, have a little more memory, because it's going to, it's going to hog your whole computer. It's going to make everything really slow. So just be careful with that. All right, so this is almost done. This is 78% done. Just bear with me over here. Almost done. Almost done. Just bear with me. Just bear with me. So you see how long it takes, right? You gotta have patience with this VM, like the VMs and everything. I have patience with Windows 10 too. Like Windows 10 does take time, but it's almost done. It's creating the Windows 10 media tool for the ISO file, and you should be good after this. So just have patience with it. It takes time. It should show up right over here. See how I have media to VirtualBox and server 2019? It should show up right here on the right hand side. So that's what I'm waiting for. Once this is done, we should be good after that. We should be able to do the other stuff. Yeah, just have patience with the creation tool. And all you need is like one ISO. Like once this is done, creating the ISO, then you could use that same ISO over and over again to different computers, like different VMs, you know, like Windows 10, and you make another one, and you make another one. So look, it's right here now. Now it's done. So hit finish. And it's done now. So then what we're gonna do now is we're gonna hit. So I like to install them simultaneously at the same time because I don't like to do them one at a time because it takes a really long time. It doesn't make any sense, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit start. And I'm gonna hit the start button right over here. It says empty, right? It's like nothing here. So you want to select a CD or an ISO, right? So we're gonna hit the little folder icon right over here. We're gonna hit add. And we're gonna hit downloads. And we're gonna hit the server right over here. I'm gonna hit open, choose, start. And we're gonna do the same thing with Windows 10. Click on it, start. And it should open up, same thing. There's nothing here. Like this is the server one, right? It's the server ISO, right? So we're gonna click on it again. We're gonna hit add, Windows ISO, open, choose, start. Same thing. And now that's gonna start up, right? So now we have two of them running. So I'm gonna change this view to 125 so you guys can see my screen. I'm gonna change the view on this one to 125 so you can see my screen. So now we have two of them running at the same time, as you can see, right? So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna close out of this, close out. We don't need any of this. Close out this, right? Server 2019 is there. We're gonna hit next. We're gonna hit install. We're not repairing anything. This doesn't make any sense. Like we're gonna repair, right? So same thing with this one. I'm gonna hit next, install now. And then we always install the second one, not this one, because then you won't have like the GUI and you won't have anything. It would just be like a command line kind of deal. You don't want that, right? We want the desktop experience one. So we click on the second one. You hit next. Accept terms of agreement. Next. We're not upgrading anything. We're installing a new installation. So we're gonna hit next. So now that's installing, right? Well, that's working behind the scenes. We're gonna go to the next one on the left-hand side. I don't have a product key. That's totally fine. Nobody cares about that. So here is where people get stuck. Make sure you pick the Pro version because the Home Edition, you cannot add that to a domain. So you have to understand the different versions of Windows. There's Windows 10 Pro, there's Home, there's Pro N, Education. You know, there's like so many different ones, right? Just make sure you pick the right one, which is Pro. If you don't see these options here, it's because your computer probably is a Home edition of Windows 10 and it doesn't support Windows 10 Pro. So you probably have to figure out, you probably have to upgrade your computer to something else for it to run the Pro version on a VM, if that makes sense. Because I get questions about that all the time. And then make sure that you have virtualization enabled on your BIOS if you're using a laptop, because it may not let you do any of this. Okay. So hit next. Custom. Next. And now this is installing, right? So now we have two installations going on behind the scenes. We have this one, we have this one. So that's going on. While that's happening, I'm gonna go to my computer right over here, to google.com. I'm gonna do PDQ download, right? I'm like, what is this, Kevin? Don't worry about it. We're gonna go over it in 2 seconds. I'm gonna hit PDQ download. I'm gonna put Kevin, put my last name. I'm gonna put Kevin, Kevtech, support.com. I'm gonna copy it because I'm getting tired of typing it. So then I'm gonna go to the next one. Same thing. Submit. So now I'm gonna go to office.com. Let me go to my email real quick while this is downloading. Go to Outlook. So I opened my email and I got the download. You can't see it, but I'll show you what it is right now. Give me a second. Show you the email. It's right here. So this is the email. It says get started by downloading the link for PDQ deployment. And the other one says get started with PDQ deployment inventory. Direct link right over here. So I'm gonna click on it. It's downloading right now. Close out of that. Close out all these tabs right over here, right? Then I'm gonna go to downloads. It should be here. 1, 2. Delete this one. So 1, 2. Now I have these two. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 items on the desktop or in downloads folder. So I'll leave that alone. That's gonna be for later, because it's gonna be a long video, so it's gonna be for later. So this is installing right now. This is doing updates. This is installing right now. So you gotta have patience with this. Hopefully nobody's lost. Knows like a lot of stuff I'm doing. You gotta have patience with it. Have patience with the VMs and have patience with yourself, and just understand what you're doing. You know, it's a super duper important. Understand what you're doing on the VMs. You know, this is very important. So you see that that VM is restarting right now, like this one. It just finished installing it. So since it's done installing, usually what I do is I remove the CD. I don't need the CD anymore. So I'm gonna right click on this CD icon. I'm gonna hit remove disk. Don't need it anymore because it's done installing. It's completely gone now at this point. You don't need it anymore. Just trying to download it. It's taking time. So just give it a few more minutes. The one on the left, it's still installing the Windows 10 files. So should let me in the login page right now. So almost done. So it's kind of like a server 2019 for beginners, but kind of like a little, you need to know a little bit about it. It's a little intermediate level because we're doing PDQ, that's a little more advanced, but you'll see what I'll do with it. So right now I'm just creating a password for this. So I'm password 1, 2, 3. I'm just logging in right now. I'm gonna do Control-Alt-Delete. I have to log in again, capital P. 1, 2, 3. Logging me in right now. It's installing. So the other one's restarting. You don't need the CD anymore, so you could just right click on it and remove disk. This one's coming back over here. Let's have patience with it. It's just trying to open things. Just give it a second. Have patience with it. This one's right over here. Still loading. This one's over here. All right. So now you have your server, right? Yeah, local server. It's still loading, by the way. Let's give it a second. Still loading stuff. I'm not gonna do updates on this today because I'll be here forever if I do updates on this. So today we're just gonna create an Active Directory using computers and do just some of the basic stuff. Okay. So this is what we care about in a job environment: is Active Directory users and computers. That would be under tools right over here, right? So if you do add roles and features, you have to install it first, obviously, and then it'll show up right over here. So that's what we care about. For now, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna close out of that, right? We're gonna go into devices, and we're gonna hit installation guest edition CD and click on that. I'm gonna open that up and I'm gonna run it. This what it allows you to do is it allows you to map folders and stuff like that. So I could grab files from my local desktop and put it on this computer. That's basically why we do that. It has some other things you could do on it as well. So I'm gonna hit install. It's installing. I'm gonna hit reboot now. That's restarting. This one's coming up right now. And I'm only gonna put it on server 2019. I'm not gonna put it on Windows 10 today. So I'm gonna go back to this one. Devices, input, Control Delete, capital P, partial 1 2 3, exclamation point. Go right to this one. Now it's set up for Windows 10. I hit yes. All right. While this is loading server manager, it's loading server manager. I'm gonna go back to this one. See what it does now? You install that. Look, it actually lets me expand it, which is kind of cool. I'm expanding it right now. All right, so I'm gonna hit yes. I'm gonna hit skip. Checking for updates, right? Really, this is all you care about. I'm being honest with you, is you care about installing the services, Active Directory, and everything. That's all you care about. I'm just showing you how to get started in your own lab, if that makes sense. So I get asked this question a lot in IT. Waiting for that to finish loading. All right. So then I'm going to do a setup for personal use next. All right. We're not going to use a Microsoft account. We're going to use an offline account. Limited experience. We're going to call it user. Don't worry about the password. Hit next, enter. Accept. Accept. So while that's going on behind the scenes, let's go back to the server, right? So we're gonna go to the server right over here. I'm gonna hit the little C drive right here, this PC. I'm gonna right click on this and I'm gonna hit inject, don't need it anymore. So what is this? What does that let you do? You're about to see right now. So I'm gonna go into share folder settings. I'm gonna hit add and I'm gonna call it, I'm gonna click on other first, and it tells you where you want to share your folder, right? So we're gonna have a folder. We're gonna make a brand new folder, and I'm gonna call it Kevin Projects, right? Then I'm gonna go to my local C drive, downloads. I'm gonna throw that in there, and I'm gonna throw that in there. So now we have the 2 installation files in there. Click on Kevin Projects. I'm gonna hit select this folder. Not read only, auto mount. Okay. So I'm gonna go to downloads. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go to this PC. Kevin Project should be here. I'm gonna right click on it, copy it, and I'm gonna put it on the desktop. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to IE, and IE is gonna give me a bunch of annoying issues because I'm gonna go to, like, I show you, right? You go to google.com, right? For example, you have to like explore, like, yeah, allow it. We're gonna get rid of that. How do you get rid of that, right? I'm gonna go to server manager. So I'm trying to download something else. I mean, I could download it and then throw it in my desktop, throw it on my server. I'm gonna do it through here instead. So you're gonna go to local server, right? you're going to go into IE security configuration. You click on this, turn that off, hit OK, close this. So now it should let me in without giving me a bunch of problems. So I'm going to go into account lockout tool, download. And we're going to go to the Microsoft one. And we're going to download it. And we're going to install it and hit yes. It says, what do you want to extract it? I'm going to put it on my desktop. And I'm going to close out of this. So now it's there, right? And this is thing called account lockout tool. What is this? You're about to see right now. I'm going to go over. So this doesn't work. Some of these things work. Some of these things don't work. But I recommend you test it out. I'm not going to go over this today. I'll go over maybe some other day. But this is what I want. Is this thing, the account lockout status tool. It tells you when an account gets locked out. That's why I created this for today. So these are things you could do as a project, right? And then you could talk about it in a job interview. So I'm going to minimize this for a second. I'm going to come back to this one, right? See how the guest image doesn't let me do that? Look, like the guest image on the other one lets me do it, and this one doesn't let me do that, right? It's okay. Don't worry about it. So what we're going to do is maybe we're going to go into the local C drive right over here. I'm going to click on it. So give it a second, it's a little slow. All right, I'm going to go here. We're going to go into right click on it. We're going to hit manage, right? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to remove the user account, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to local. I'm going to go to users. I'm going to right click on administrator. I'm going to hit properties. Password never expires. I'll leave that alone. Account is disabled. I'm going to enable it. I'm going to hit apply. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to right click over here. I'm going to set a password. I'm going to put welcome one. Welcome one. Password has been set. I'm going to right click over here and I'm going to hit sign up. And I'm going to log in with this one. Welcome one. It's logging me in right now. Give it a second. So far, so good. I hope I didn't lose anyone. This is Server 2019 Lab with PDQ, Active Directory, and Windows 10. That's what this is today. Just give that a second. Actually, while we wait for that, let's do this. We're going to go back to the server, right? We're going to go to a C drive. We're going to go to this PC. Do I need this? I don't need this anymore. I'm going to disconnect it. I'm going to right click on this PC, properties. See this name called Win-60JQFEH6G4G. I am not, for the life of me, I am not going to memorize that as my computer name for my server, right? I want to rename it. So you could rename it from here. So if you go to this PC, you right click this PC, properties, right? Change settings and hit change and rename it here, right? I don't want to do it that way. I want to rename it a different way. I want to rename it using PowerShell. So I'm going to do PowerShell and I'm going to open that up real quick, right? And in here, I'm going to type rename dash computer. And I'm going to call it server 2019, sorry. Then I'm going to do shutdown dash -R, and I'm going to restart the computer. That's what I just said. So it's rename dash computer, and then you put the name in there, and then you hit enter. And then in the bottom one, it says shutdown -R. So you do shutdown space -R, and it could shut down your server or your VM or whatever you have open. So that's what it is. So it's going to take effect in 2 seconds. So that's trying to do its thing. This one's still trying to come back up. And it's shutting down right now. There we go. Looks a little weird, but yeah, don't worry. It should be good. It should be fine. This one's still trying to update. So this one came up right away. So we're going to do input. Control delete. Capital P. 1, 2, 3. Right. Easy, right? Easy, not complicated. So now that that's set up, now that I renamed it, right? What I'm gonna do is close out of this. I'm gonna open up PowerShell again, the regular one, because it's two different ones. I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna put new item, new minus item, path, bracket sign, C dash, we're gonna call it shares dash Kevtech, little dash in the top, minus item type directory. Just trying to create a folder. So it says here, folder mode D was created with Kevtech. The folder was created called Kevtech. See, that actually worked. I'm gonna go into the, I'm gonna right click on this, let's connect this. Here, local C, shares, Kevtech. Awesome. It worked. Perfecto. All right, good. So I'm gonna right click on this. I'm gonna hit properties, sharing, share, advanced sharing. Sorry about that. Share. Okay. Okay. So now we have our share folder. You know, normally you would just go in server manager and do it that way. I'm doing it from PowerShell instead. So hopefully that makes sense. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into server manager, right? I'm going to go into manage, and I'm going to go to add roles and features, and I'm going to install Active Directory. So I'm going to hit next, and hit next. All right. I'm going to click on this one, Active Directory Services. Add features, next, next. This is configuring Azure Connect. So I have it open already over here. Let me see if I can look for it. So if you go to, if your job might have AD Connect, it may not, depends on the company, right? There's hybrid connections. Hybrid setup is basically you have an on-prem server and then you have AD Connect installed on top of it. So let me open this up real quick and show you what it is. So it's right here. So if you have AD Connect, you would have to download it actually. So if you go to AD Connect download, you have a server in on-prem, you could download it. You would add this to it and it tells you information about it. And basically, you know, you have cloud with a server combined together. And that's basically what this is all about, if that makes sense. So hit next. We're going to hit install. And we should be good. Now it's installing. So you have like the combination like on-prem with Azure Connect, or you don't have that at all. You just have an on-prem server with everything there and that's it. So a lot of companies are using hybrid environments. So they have AD Connect and they have a server that's on-prem combined together. Where I work at, they have both. So we have on-prem servers, and then we have some servers that don't have some servers that are all on the cloud. So everyone's accounts are on the cloud on Azure. And then some other people are on AWS. So everyone's set up differently. You know, I have different clients I work with. So it's just what I'm doing right now is installing Active Directory. So while that's installing, it should be pretty fast. I'm gonna hit promote the server. I'm gonna add a new forest. We're gonna create a domain controller, right? And I'm gonna do kevtech.com. I'm gonna hit next. Is the password we're gonna use, capital P, password 1, 2, 3, capital P, password 1, 2, 3. Hit next. It's installing the BIOS name or the net BIOS name. That's what it's doing right now. Hit next. Don't worry about the date and time, just whatever. It says as lab purposes. Next. And then here, if you look at it, this is a thing called view script. This is how you install it with PowerShell, by the way. I'm not doing that today, but that's how you would install it with PowerShell. Hit next. It's just checking to see if it has all the requirements. Don't worry about all these error messages. It's okay. So hit install. And now it's installing. We should be good now. All right, let's go back to Windows 10, right? While this is installing. I'm going to go to Windows 10. It's taking a bit of time. This is taking forever. I don't know why it's taking forever. What I'm going to do is, it's like my VM is giving me a hard time. I'm going to reset it. That's what I'm going to do. I may have fixed it. We'll see. Sometimes you have these weird bugs with VMs sometimes. So it's probably stuck somewhere. It's probably stuck in La La Land right now because it's not letting me in with the admin account. So basically I'm just going to reset it. Looks like that worked. So let me log in again. Try this again. Hopefully it's not messed up. If it is, not the end of the world, but it should let me in. I wouldn't see why it wouldn't let me in. Just give it a second. Yeah, I just got the email like boost security and get cloud ready with Windows Server 2019. That's what I just got the email. All right, this looks like it's working now. All right, good, it's working. This thing's acting crazy today. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna do well, before I do anything, then we're gonna go into the C drive, right? I'm gonna right click here. We're gonna go into this PC. We're gonna hit properties. And I'm gonna go all the way down. We're gonna do advanced system settings. I'm gonna hit settings. I'm gonna hit adjust for best performance. I'm gonna hit apply. Just give that a second. Just spinning and thinking about it. I always do that with my VMs. I like to do that because sometimes the VMs run really, really slow. You could still run it with 1 gig of RAM on a Windows 10, but thing is, like I tell people, get more memory because the VMs will give you a hard time. That's the other thing, you know. So hit OK. Computer. I'm gonna do user profile, and I'm gonna delete that user account. What I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna right click on Task Manager. And more details. This is still installing, I think. Yeah, it's still installing. All right, leave it at one. And I'm gonna go into CPU is extremely high right now. It's fine. They just delete the account, or they delete the account. All right, good. This thing I'm gonna do. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go here, right? I'm gonna go into control panel. And I'm gonna go into, not control panel, sorry. I'm gonna go into program, add program, remove programs. I'm gonna hit up this add feature. I'm gonna scroll down to Active Directory, Light Services, RSAT tools. I'm gonna hit install, and I'm gonna install that right now. And I'm gonna kill 2 birds in 1 stone. Basically, what that means is I'm gonna go into PowerShell again, right? Because you have to restart anyway when you install RSAT tools. I'm gonna open this up, and I'm gonna do rename dash computer. And I'm gonna call it desktop 1. Desktop 01. Close out of that. This is installing. You gotta restart anyway when you install RSAT tools. So this is installed. I'm gonna right click on this and I'm gonna hit restart. This one's applying settings right now. We're almost done with this setup. This takes a bit of time to replicate. So that's why when you create Active Directory, it takes a really, really long time. So you gotta have a lot of patience with Active Directory. It's not a race, you know. Have patience with it. So this is installing right now. The other one is back up. The user account is still there. It should not let me in with the user. Look, it's still letting me in. I got rid of it and it's still there. That's funny. It's still letting me in with the user account, even though I got rid of it. That's interesting. So even though I deleted the profile, it's still there. If you guys notice that, it's weird, right? That's crazy. I clicked on user, it immediately just threw me back in there, even though I deleted it, which is fine. It's no biggie. I know how to get rid of it. There's another way to get rid of it. I'm gonna get rid of it, but it's funny though that it actually let me log in with the user account, even though I deleted it. I don't know if that's a bug with Windows. I just deleted the profile, or I don't know what's going on right there. That's really weird. So very, very weird. So yeah, let me in again. Interesting. All right, I'm gonna sign out of this one. Yeah, sign out anyway. It's still installing, so have patience with this one. All right, back on the screen again. It's basically I click my mouse and it goes up, and I could just log in again. Next thing I'm gonna do is we're gonna log into this one, right? And we're gonna go into control panel, and we're gonna get into a static IP address. So we're gonna go in here, view network status and tasks, change adapter settings. You guys have been here before, you know what I usually do here. I'm gonna change this. Leave this alone. You guys seen this before? You guys know what I'm about to do right now. So I'm gonna do 10.1.10.3, 10.1.10.1. And we're gonna do 10.1.1.10.2, 10.1.10.1. I'm gonna hit apply, I'm gonna hit okay. I'm gonna close out of this, I'm gonna close out of this, I'm gonna close out of this. And I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go to the network settings. And I'm gonna do host adapter only. Internet's gonna be completely gone, which is fine. And I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna right click on this, I'm gonna hit manage. That user account, I'm gonna get rid of it from here. Let's see if it lets me do that. There we go. So now if I sign out, that user account should be gone. I don't understand why it was still there. It should just be completely gone. That's a weird bug right there. Okay, it's not there anymore. All right, good. Strange issue. This one's still going. That's fine. And do we have Active Directory on this? We should. I wouldn't see why not. It's right there. And obviously, you can't open it, right? It's not set up. It's not on domain yet. We can't do anything. So while we wait for this one to show up, I'm gonna show you some CMD commands because someone brand new, like, okay, what should I know? There's different ones. You should know about ipconfig, ipconfig /all, right? And then understand, is DHCP enabled on this computer? Like, is it getting something from DHCP? It says no, right? The preferred IP address, IPv4, is 10.1.10.3, right? And then the physical address is right over here. And the physical link address of IPv6 is right here. And then you could get more information, actually, if you type control panel here. You go into view network status and task, and you click on internet, and then it's right here, like it tells you here. And then if you hit details, it gives you more information right over here. This is stuff you need to know. So that's definitely something you need to know. The other one is my favorite one. Who am I? It's another one. Who am I? --. Who am I? --. And it tells you more commands. Who am I? FQD and fully qualified domain name. And it says unable to get because this computer's not in a domain. Net user. Net use. So this is stuff you need to know, right? Just teaching you stuff. GP edit, the GP editor for this, for the Windows 10 local PC. So there's GP edit --. GP update force, another one. So when you're doing group policy, right? Stuff you need to know. So yeah, you could do group policy. It's not joining a domain, but it does have as a group policy. There's a local group policy on it. So you could do group policy on it, even though it's not on a domain. So understand how that works. Okay. Totally, these are the little things, you know. And obviously the simple one, right? Ping, right? Like ping google.com. It's probably not going to work because it's static IP. Yep, it's not going to work. And if you want to get out of it, you do Control C and it goes back to, you know, the original spot. Okay. All right, so this is done. I'm super excited about what's going to happen right now, by the way. So we're going to do capital P, password 123. And we're going to do, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go minimize this. We're going to do deploy PDQ and click on that. All right. I'm gonna hit next. See, there's a little triangle right here. There's an issue with this. It should still work. And that's because it has a 127 IP address. If you go to the control panel, right over here, right? You go into view network status and test, change adapter settings, internet, properties, IPv6 is this thing over here. You remove this, but if you go here, it's 127. Like you could change that. So hit OK, OK. Should be fine. Should be gone. This should go away. Just give it a second. Should go away. All right. So what I do is I'm gonna hit next. Because this is an admin. This is an admin PDQ. I'm installing this on the server. Hit install, and we should be good after that. I'm gonna launch it. So this is what you'll be doing in your VM server 2019. I recommend you do this. It's gonna help you. It's gonna really help you. So now I'm gonna open up PDQ and hit next. For now, we have a free version of this. And hit next. So now it's asking for your domain controller and your domain password, right? So you're gonna do capital P, whatever your password is, you just throw it in there, right? Capital P, sure, 123, exclamation point. So let that run. It should find your domain controller, which it did. Now it's trying to open. And see how that yellow icon is completely gone. Now it's working. So now we have what we're looking for right over here. So I'm gonna close out of that. I'm gonna open the next one. This is the inventory one. So this is like to do inventory of your whole hardware desktops that you have or that are joined on the domain and stuff like this. I'm gonna hit next. I'm gonna hit install. So I'm gonna throw that into the trash bin. We don't need it anymore. I'm gonna launch that one. Throw this in the trash bin. We don't need it anymore. Throw that one. And next. Same thing. Capital P, password 123. Finish. All right. Just give it a second. And it should run. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into tools. I'm going to go to Active Directory users and computers, right? I'm going to right click over here on Kevtech and I'm going to do new OU. I'm going to call it IT. I'm going to right click on Kevtech again. I'm going to do new OU and I'm going to call it HR. Then I'm going to right click on HR and I'm going to hit new user and I'm going to put Sally in here, like Sally Jones from Beverly Hills Ninja, right? We'll make it lowercase, doesn't really. I'm going to do capital W, welcome one, capital W, welcome one. And I'm going to hit password, next, and we're good. And then this one, I am going to go to users. I'm going to right click on properties here. I'm going to right click on admin. I'm going to do copy and I'm going to create a Helpdesk account. Capital W, welcome one, capital W, welcome one. And password never expires. That one. I'm going to drag him all the way to the ITOU. I'm going to hit yes. You get like a message on it because she's like, why are you moving me over here to members? Right. I'm going to leave this one. I'm going to leave this one, this one. And I'm going to remove this one. I'm going to remove this one. I'm going to remove this one. I'm going to hit OK. Close out of that. Close out of that. Close out of that. Put yes for that. I'm going to go to local C drive, this PC, local disk, right? Shares. Remember, I created this folder called shares with PowerShell. Kevtech. I'm going to right click here. I'm going to make a folder called IT. I'm gonna right click it again. I'm gonna create another folder. Just give it a second. And create another folder, and I'm gonna call it HR. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna right click on the HR one. I'm gonna hit properties. I'm gonna do advanced sharing, share, okay. And I'm gonna hit close. I'm gonna right click on IT properties. I'm gonna do advanced sharing again. I'm gonna hit okay. I'm gonna hit okay and close it. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give Sally access to HR only, and I'm gonna map it as an H drive. And IT, I'm gonna map it as an H drive for help desk. All right. So I'm gonna do properties right over here. We're gonna go into security. We're gonna go to advanced. We're gonna disable inheritance on the top, so then I can mess with this, right? So I'm gonna remove this one. I'm gonna remove this one, and I'm gonna go into add. This is HR, right? I'm gonna go into help desk because I want to help desk to have access to this, and I'm gonna go to HR and check for names as well. Not HR, sorry, Sally. Check for names. And it says you probably gotta do them one at a time, which is totally fine. So I'm gonna hit this one first. I'm gonna hit him. I'm gonna give him full control. I'm gonna hit Sally next. Modify access. So there's only these people that have access to it. Like Sally, help desk, and the admin account. Nobody else has access to it. I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna make her read and write, and I'm gonna hit share. And I'm gonna hit done, and I'm gonna hit close. Then I'm gonna right click on IT. I'm not gonna give Sally access to this one. It should just be only help desk, right? So we're gonna go into security. We're gonna go into advanced. We're gonna go into disable inheritance. Convert this one on the top, because if you do the other one, it's gonna remove everyone from here. You want to do that. You can start breaking inheritance and all that good stuff. So we're gonna go here. I'm gonna hit remove. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna hit remove. I'm gonna hit add. Select principal. Help desk. Modify. Okay. Apply. Okay. Shared. Shared. Read and write. Shared. Done. Done. So now if you go to CMD, type net use. You have share folder for this one. But if you go here, we're going to add all of them on this right now. So we're going to do server manager again. And I'm going very fast. Take your time with it. So I just created 2 folders. I gave Sally access to HR, help desk access to HR. I created a folder called IT, gave help desk access to that folder only, and the administrator. So that's how it's done in a job environment. There's only one person that's going to have access to it. Not like 100 people, unless you put a security group or something like that. So I'm going to do Active Directory, users and computers, right? I'm going to double click on help desk. Just connect to, I'm going to make a H drive, like I told you before. I'm going to right click over here on IT. Copy. Apply. Okay. I'm going to close out of that. Go to HR. Click on properties. Copy. And I'm going to go here. And I'm going to go here. I'm going to make it an H drive as well. Paste. We should be good. It's giving me that message. It's like, does that folder really exist? That's basically what it's saying. That's what's giving me that weird error message, which is fine. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into control panel because I want to add that other PC to a domain. I'm going to change the network settings on this one like I normally do in my other videos. Change adapter settings, properties, IPv4. I'm changing this to 10.1.10.2, 10.1.10.1, 10.1.10.2, 10.1.10.1. So okay, I hit okay. Goes out of this, goes out of this. I'm gonna go into firewall. I'm gonna turn off the firewall. Remember, obviously in IT world, we don't do this, but I'm doing a lab, so don't worry about it. Close out of that. I'm gonna go back to this one, and this one's not on the domain, but has a static IP because we set it up earlier, right? So I'm gonna do ping kevtech.com. It's not gonna work probably. They changed the host adapter only. So I'm gonna go to network settings, host adapter only. Change it real quick. There we go. Now it works. And I'm gonna add that one to a domain. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go into right-click his PC, properties, and I'm gonna go into advanced system settings. I'm gonna go to the network wizard. This is a home computer. It's not part of a domain. I'm gonna hit next. And next. I'm gonna hit next. Type the username in the domain name of your account. So domain name. So this is the domain name, right? It's gonna be kevtech.com. Let's try this, see what happens, right? Couldn't find kevtech.com. So I'm gonna get out of this. Usually I don't do it this way. I like doing it the other way. So my company uses a network with a domain. Company uses a network without a domain. Next. You need the following information: username, your password, and your user account name. So hit next. Oh, this is for my computer. So I'm gonna put welcome one. So I hit next. Let's give it a second. And then here is the domain. Sorry about that. Kevtech.com. Hit next. Now we could log in. Should I log in with Helpdesk or should I log in with I'll log in with the admin account. See if it works. Should let me in. See it? Now it's there. Look, see? Look at that. I usually don't do it that way. I don't like doing it that way for some reason. I'm not a fan of that. I'm a fan of the other way, but try something different, right? You gotta get comfortable with the, get comfortable with the interface a little bit. So now that that's fully joined the domain, I'm gonna log in with Sally, and I should have access to only that one folder called HR. I'm gonna log in with Helpdesk, and I'm gonna have access to our set tools. So let's see if that happens properly. All right. So I'm gonna log in with Sally. Look, it's in a domain controller. How do you know? It says kevtech.com, right? And then the desktop is called desktop01. How do you confirm even further that this is actually joining the domain? You go into your server, you go into server manager, right? You go here. And if it's done correctly, if you go to Active Directory using computers, I'm gonna close out of this. I don't need this, right? I'm actually gonna pin taskbar. So you close it, reopen it, it should just come up right over here, right? Should be right here. This desktop one, right there. Boom, there we go. So remember that PDQ thing we did, right? Let's go to PDQ inventory for a second. Let's open that up before we do anything else, before we log in. Now, Kevin, what's the point of this? So this gives you the inventory of the desktop. So this is what you would do on a server 2019, right? You have all these things you could play around with. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a computer here. I'm gonna hit browse. Desktop one. I'm gonna hit OK. So this is the issue where you get, right? Because it doesn't see that computer. So this is offline, doesn't say on, right? So this is what you'll get because you're not using internet, right? There's no internet here. There's no internet here. So just keep that in mind. So that's what's going on right now. That's why it doesn't see it at all. To Kevin. So how do you fix that, Kevin? Well, you can fix that. So if we go here, right? We're gonna go over here and I'll show you how to fix that. It says here, look, it's not even online, cannot be found, right? So let me log in with my account again. Logging in with the local account, welcome one. All right, so we're back online right now, and then I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to go here, and I'm gonna do CMD. I'm gonna do ping desktop 01. Request timeout, request timeout. Just give it a second. I could ping it here, but I can't ping it there. You see that, right? It's weird, right? It's just like, what's going on over here? So I'm gonna go here. Actually, let's go to firewall. I'm gonna turn firewall off for a second. So I could turn off firewall and it'll probably fix it. But you see how I can't ping it, right? Like it's weird. Like I could ping to the server, but I can't ping to this. So this is where you gotta put in your, you gotta put your thinking cap right over here. Like, why is this not working? I'll turn off firewall for a second. See if that fixes it. Obviously, you won't do firewall in a job environment, So let's see here. Doesn't see it, right? Let's see if it sees it now. There we go. That worked. So I fixed it. So this is what PDQ is like. You can import desktops and stuff like that. Computers, you do a bunch of like it's checking the user groups, checking everything. So while I was doing that, I'm gonna log out and log in with Sally. So that's basically what I was trying to get to this computer, get to this lab, if that makes sense. All right, so I'm gonna do Sally. Welcome one. Should let her in. It's a domain controller. I wouldn't see why it wouldn't let her in. It wouldn't make any sense if it doesn't let her in. So now it showed up online. And now if you open up PDQ deployment, I'm gonna open up the second one now, right? It's like, Kev, what's the point of this? What can you do with this? Well, you can install applications on it. Like if I go here, right? I go to packages, right? Obviously, you need to have internet for this. So basically what you do is if you want any of the packages, you got to download them, right? You need to have internet for this. It's not gonna work if you try to, like I'm downloading it, it's not gonna let me do it. Some of these are grayed out, some of these are not grayed out. It's because you got to pay for it. It's a paid version, right? So Zoom, uninstall Zoom client. And it's probably not gonna let me download it because I need internet for this. May work. Okay, it does work. Never mind. I thought you need internet. Sometimes you need internet for this. This is packages. It's like spinning. Like, see, it's giving me an error message. You need internet for this. If you don't have internet, it's not gonna work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm ready. It's already joined, right? So I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into devices, network settings, net. Okay. I'm gonna go into start menu again, control panel. I'm gonna go into view network status and task, change adapter settings, double click on that, double click on properties, ISP4. I'm gonna turn that off. I'm gonna hit okay. I'm gonna go to PDQ again. Right? Just give it a second. It's already logged in, so I'm gonna leave it alone. Oh, this one, check right now, 2 seconds. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna go here, right? Right, look for Zoom, download again. Should download it now, and I'm gonna remove this one, so delete this one. Now it's downloaded. It's ready to install. Awesome. So I'm gonna actually I'll leave it open for now. Then I'm gonna go back in here, and I'm gonna go back to control panel, and I'm gonna go back to view network status and tasks. Change adapter settings. Double click on it, hit properties. TCP IPv4. I'm gonna go into 10.1 again, .1.10.2, 10.1, 10.1, 10.1.10.2, 10.1.10.1, and put it back into a static IP. There's different ways to do it, but this is how I do it. Do whatever works for you, right? And do network status, network devices, network adapter, change, host only adapter. Okay. So what we do is you right click on this, deploy one time, deploy once. It allows you to install applications, right? You do choose target, computers, desktop 1. And let's see if it works. It should let you do it. I wouldn't see why not. We're gonna drag it over here so you guys could see what happens when I do it, right? I'm gonna hit OK. Deploy now. See if it installs it. There we go. Now it's there. See? That's what PDQ does. So you can play around with this. This is why I'm making this video today with this. It's pretty cool. And it's done. It says running. It's done. And if you go to this PC, these drivers right there. Pretty cool, right? Look at this. And then we go into Kevtech. IT should be blocked. It is. All right, good. All right, so I'm going to log out of this. So I wanted to show you that too. I'm going to log out of this. I'm going to go here. I'm going to log in with Helpdesk. Should let me in. Close out of that. Yeah, so this is stuff that you should be doing with your servers. I'm doing this with Server 2019 today. So, and I'm logging in with Helpdesk, and it should map the IT drive, which is the H drive, and it should be in there. Understand how to create user accounts, understand how to the different OUs, understand about group policy, which I'm gonna go over right now. I'm gonna open up Server Manager while we wait for that to load. And we're gonna do group policy, right? And I'm logged in right now. See, the Zoom is right there. AT drive's right there. Does Active Directory work? It should work. I wouldn't see why it wouldn't work. And it works. Look at that. Whoop. There we go. Sign out for a second. Sally. Just putting up bad password. 3, 4. I keep trying to log in with Sally over and over again. Just trying to lock her out. All right, I'm going to show you something else. So now hopefully Sally gets locked out. I hope she gets locked out. It's not going to lock her out probably. It's just spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. So the reason why it keeps doing that is because I don't have the account lockout threshold set up on my group policy. So I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. What is that? What does that even mean? I'll show you right now. So, because I keep doing this, I can do this all day, by the way. It won't do anything because group policy is not set up properly. So to fix that problem, we have to go into group policy management. So I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to go back into it. So I open Server Manager, right? We're going to go into tools, we're gonna go into group policy management, which I'm opening right now. We're gonna hit forest, we're gonna open up the forest, and hit domains, we're gonna hit Kevtech, right? We have the domain controller, hit OK. You have domain controller here, policy, right? So if you go into, I'll show again. If you go into settings, show all tells you information about like password history 24, password age 42 days, password age, maximum password age 42 days, minimum password age for 1 day, minimum password length 7 characters. Account lock call is how many times you get locked out for valid. It says 0 valid attempts, 0 invalid. So that means she keep doing this over and over again, and she will not get locked out. It will just keep saying incorrect username and password. So I gotta set up some sort of policy for her because it's gonna keep happening, right? It's not gonna lock her out. It's supposed to lock her out. That's a security risk, right? Why would I not enable it? It doesn't make any sense. So I have to enable it. So what do is you right click here, you hit edit, you go into policies, you go into security settings. You have all these different ones, account policies. So I'm gonna change the password policy. So I'm gonna change this to 90 days. I'm gonna hit apply. Okay. This is fine. This is fine. I'm gonna go here, account lockout threshold is not defined. I'm gonna put 30 minutes. I'm gonna hit apply. I'm gonna hit okay. I'm gonna hit okay. And I want her to only have 3 times that she could keep trying her bad password. Like you keep trying over and over again. I want her to try only 3 times and then lock her out after 3 times. So I'm gonna hit okay, close out of that, close out of that. So I'm gonna go over here. Capital W, welcome 1. Log in again. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna do CMD, GP update force. Trying to push out the policy. All right. Policy has been completed on this domain, on this computer, talking to the domain controller. And then I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna right click on this and sign out. I'm gonna try to log in again as Sally and see if it locks me out. So Sally. See if it locks her out. Supposed to lock her out. Let's see. It may take time to replicate. It may have to restart, but we'll see. It's supposed to lock her out. Let's see if it locks her out anyway. I'm gonna go to the domain controller and check. So I'm gonna hit refresh. Oh, I'm gonna hit go back here. Still didn't lock her out yet. Okay, that's fine. Just give it a second. The computer policy is not taking effect. May have to restart it for group policy to work properly, to replicate. That's how it is sometimes with this group policy. So let me do let it spinning, give it a second. It's taking a bit of time. Almost done with this. Right? Just give it a second. So what I want to do is I'm going to just restart it. I'll come back to this in 2 seconds. Let me leave that open. It's supposed to lock her out. It's not locking her out. So I'm going to lock her out right now. I should have, if I had group policy and force, it probably would have worked, but it's okay. I'm going to go back into Sally. Still not locking her out. Let me check over here. Group policy. Basically, I'm trying to lock her out because I'm testing. I want to show you something, but I had to lock her out in order for me to show you how it works. So I'm gonna do one restart. I'm gonna go back to group policy and just make sure that this is set up properly. Let's see. Yeah, it is set up properly. It's probably taking a bit of time to replicate. Yeah, sometimes replication time is extremely fast, but this one is taking a bit of time. There we go. That's what I was waiting for. There we go. Account is currently locked out. Okay. So what do you want me? What are you trying to show us, Kevin? What's the point of this? All right, I wanted to show you the tool that I installed. So see this tool here called Lockout Status, right? I use this in my job, by the way. Your job may not allow you to do this or may allow you to do this. Depends on the company, right? Click on this. If you do file and you do select target, and I'm gonna put Sally as the name of the person because Sally's the one that got locked out. So target username, you put Sally in there, like it says administrator. My bad, put that in there by accident. Let's see what happens here when I do that. So I'm gonna select the target. So it's supposed to be Kevtech.com, and okay, let's see if that works. Should work. Put the wrong thing in there. There we go. So now it says bad password count 23 times. Last bad password 52-2021 359. Password last set 332, and lockout time is 5221 3559 12 p.m. 359 12 seconds p.m. And it's being locked out of server 2019. So that's what I wanted to show you. It's kind of cool, right? So if I go back here, obviously you call her, confirm it's her. Sally, is that you? Yeah, my account got locked out. You try again? Yeah, I'll try again. And then, she could just log in again. Should work. Just let her in right there. You can do other things too. Like I told you, like I spoke about other things, but for now we went over a lot today. So I'm going to shut this down. And go to my PowerPoint slide. So today we went over Server 2019, Windows 10, Active Directory user accounts. We did some PowerShell commands. We did some share files. We did PDQ. And if you're stuck, join Discord because we have people in Discord that are willing to help. So that's it. That's pretty much it for today. I'm going to stop sharing. That's it. That's pretty much it for today. I hope you guys have a great day. As always, rate, comment, subscribe, leave your comments down below. Hopefully this helps you out if you're brand new to IT. And I'll leave some links below for all these things like Server 2019 ISO, Windows 10 ISO, bootable image, PDQ, and that's it. That's pretty much it. And for a VirtualBox, obviously. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I know it was a very long video, but hopefully this helps you out. All right, take care. Peace. Bye.